Well, good morning. Welcome to another week. This is Monday morning. I love Mondays. I might be the only one. I just feel like Garfield told everybody that we hate Mondays, but I love Mondays. Anyway, this weekend, I finished Don't Fear the Reaper. I gave it 5 stars. It is so good. It is so good. It picks up a few years after the first one, and we are following multiple POVs this time. It's not just Jade. Also, she wants to be called Jennifer Daniels, not Jade anymore. And we have a new person writing the essays to the history teacher. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not telling you anything else. I loved it. I loved it more than the first one. I just loved it. Oh, well, I can tell you the basic premise. There is a serial killer who was being transported, and he, in the middle of a snowstorm in Idaho, and something happened to the envoy. What's the difference? Anyway, I feel like a convoy is a series of vehicles. Anyway, something happened to them, and the serial killer escaped. And that's what's happening in Proof Rock, Idaho. So that is all that I finished this weekend. I am almost done with Full Moon, actually, as well. They're not very long. These first few Dresden books, maybe none of the Dresden books are very long. I don't know. Anyway, I'm almost finished with it. And then I will be starting Stones of Light. It's the second book after Voice of War by Zach Argyle. So I'm going to start that next, probably later today. I don't know. I'm not going to have a ton of time to read today. I read a little bit this morning while I was preparing my breakfast. Today we have eggs and sausage. Oh, well, those are some peppers, but I'm going to make a breakfast burrito this morning, and that's what I'm eating today. So I will check in with you guys a little bit later. Okay, so if you come in my room, you just see Django on an unmade bed. But if you look a little bit closer, this tiny little pile of blankets that Django doesn't want us to look at is hiding a Skeeter. Good morning, Skeeter. It's time to wake up. Good morning. She is like the least morning person in dog form. Like, she is not a morning person. Look at her face. Look at her eyes looking at me. I have to come in here and coax her out in the morning and pet her and love her and tell her good morning, and then she will get up for the day. Otherwise, she just stays in this bed waiting to be summoned. And meanwhile, Django's already been up. He's been outside. He's ready to eat some food. Like, he's ready to go. She, on the other hand, not so much. Django, you see, he tries to block her all the time. This is how he lives his life, just trying to get in between me and her. Anyway, what a wonderful welcome to the day. Good morning. I finished Full Moon. I knew I would. And it was so good. There was a couple of issues with it, but I talked to somebody who's read the whole series, and she said that those issues are not there through the whole thing, so I'm hoping that they will go away. Anyway, we just had lunch, and now we're going walking, so I'm going to listen to Stones of Light while we walk. I'll report back later. Well, hello. It is only 7:40 at night, but I am so tired, so I'm actually just going to go lay down and read. Maybe I'll stay awake, maybe I won't. I got up really early this morning. So let's talk about what I've read today. First of all, I finished Dresden. We talked about that a little bit. One of the issues that I have with the book is his obsession with women in a certain way. And I'm not going to go into it. There's been entire things written about this. Okay, I'm not going into all that. Number 2, I hate the repetitiveness of the situations that he seems to get into. And like I said in the earlier clip, I've talked to somebody who's read them all, and she says that doesn't continue. So I decided to give it 4 stars. And then when I went and looked on Goodreads, I read this a year ago, and I gave it 4 stars then as well. So I am happy with where I am and what's going on there. Now, the next thing that I'm reading, I've already told you about it. It's Stones of Light, which means it is just Monday night and I am already starting Stones of Light. So I'm really hoping that means I'm going to get to do the next audiobook, which is They Come at Night. That's the next one after Her Name is Night, and I'm so excited to get back into that world. So I'm definitely going to finish Stones of Light. I've probably listened to a little over an hour of it so far, and I'm loving being back in the world. We get all these points of views. I like where it's going right now, and I'm so excited for the next 9 hours and how all of that is going to play out. So I am very happy with where I am right now. I would like to be further along in The Desert and the Drum, which, by the way, last week I said, oh, this is a series of short stories. No, it's not. It's just that the first chapter takes place in the present, and then chapter 2 flings us back to the past, but nothing says that. Like there's no headers at the top of the chapters, and so it's all written in first person point of view. So I thought it was just a different story about a different area and a different group of people. So anyway, it's all one story. But apparently we have dual timelines happening. So it just took me a minute to figure that out. But I really like where it's going. It's an easy read. It's less than 200 pages. I don't know why I'm not just sitting down and reading. So that's going to be my main focus tonight before I fall asleep, is reading The Desert and the Drum. And then I will move into Phantom Evil. So I'm keeping this right here next to me at my desk. And when I finish the other one, I'll move right in. So that's really it. Today was just a busy work day. I'm only working 3 days this week before I go to my parents' house, and I do not want to take work with me. So I'm trying to get everything done now to get ready for the end of the week. So I worked a little bit later today, and now I'm yawning and ready to go to sleep so early. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. I will tell you what I read tonight and just check in general about what's going on and what we're doing tomorrow. Good morning. It's Tuesday. Breakfast is avocado toast. So I had a ripe avocado and I was like, ooh, I'm going to make some toast. So that is breakfast. Okay. I am probably going to finish Royal Assassin today. That's one I've been reading in the background with Andrew. And Andrew and I talked yesterday for quite a while about what we're planning to do going forward. Royal Assassin is book 2 in the Farseer trilogy, and I think we're stopping. I mean, I feel like that's a controversial opinion and decision, but we're stopping after book 2. And we're probably going to finish it today or tomorrow. He might finish it tomorrow. I'm finishing it today. I'm on the last chapter right now. So I'm finishing Royal Assassin today. Here's my problem with these books. So far, the problem that I have with this book is that it is too repetitive in the middle section. Like when you're writing fiction, the middle part is the longest part. And it is supposed to be a series of failures where our main character can't accomplish the thing they're wanting to accomplish. So when the repeated failures are the same or involving the same people kind of doing the same thing every time, I cannot stand it. I don't like it when it happens in movies. I don't like it when it happens in books. And so that's on my nerves, and it's still not settled, and the book is almost over. And I understand that I'm in the middle of a trilogy, so for all the answers, I might have to read the third book. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to read all of these Fitz books, all of these series eventually, but I'm not pushing myself and forcing myself to read that this year. I'm just not doing it. And Andrew and I both are trying to read through all of Stephen King's catalog. So we created a spreadsheet. You know, I love a spreadsheet. We created a spreadsheet, and we've both already marked all the ones that we've read and the ones that we want to reread. And so any of them that line up, we have them highlighted. There's a lot of them that we have that neither one of us have read, or that one of us wants to reread and the other one hasn't read. So a lot of Stephen King is going to be happening on the side now with Andrew, which is fantastic. I am going to finish The Dark Tower. I'm trying to do that in March. It's going to go on my March TBR, and I'm trying to finish book 7 of The Dark Tower then. But I'm going to be reading Stephen King in the background instead of Robin Hobb. So same thing, I'm still reading with Andrew. We're just moving over to Stephen King for a while. Now, other than Royal Assassin, I didn't read very much. Like, my report yesterday about Stones of Light was as far as I got, because then Andrew and I talked, and I spent the rest of the day reading Royal Assassin. So I'm going to finish that today and then jump back into Stones of Light, focusing on Stones of Light. I did read a little bit more of the next story in How Long Till Black Future Month. It's just so good. Like, 2 lines into a story, and I feel like I am there standing in the city with the person that's telling us the story. Like, it takes her no time to just suck me right into the story. So I'm actually leaving this on my desk today, and anytime I've got to load up something or I'm waiting for something to export or upload or whatever, I'm picking up this book instead of picking up my phone. And that's what I'm going to do for reading those short stories. Lastly, the short story collection that was picked in my game that's called This Close, I am starting that today. I don't know how many stories are in there, but I counted them up before. And if I start today, reading 1 a day, I'll finish by the end of the month. So I guess there's 14 or 15 in there. Since today's the 14th, happy Valentine's Day. And there are 28 days. So we're exactly halfway through the month. And I think I'll finish by the end of the month. So that's my plan with This Close. And I think that's it. I didn't read any more of The Desert and the Drum. I just focused on Royal Assassin yesterday in the afternoon. So I'm not going to get any reading done this morning. Like I said, I'm trying to get everything done today and tomorrow because I leave on Thursday. So I got a lot of work stuff to do. I'm going to jump on that right now and get that all finished, eat my avocado toast, and I will check back in with you in just a little while. Okay, I know this is a weird angle, and for some reason my wedding picture is in the shot. Though I was not trying to do that either. I've got you balanced on some pillows. But anyway, it is Valentine's Day, so maybe that's fitting. Anyway, I want to talk about Royal Assassin, so I'll just cover this up with the Royal Assassin cover. Anyway, I finished it, and the very first review that I saw on Audible, which by the way was from 10 years ago, and the title of the review was called Utterly Infuriating or Utterly Annoying. I can't remember exactly what utterly was in front of, but both of those adjectives describe my feelings about this book. This part right here might be a little bit spoilery, so I'm just going to go ahead and put a little spoiler thing at the bottom. So don't listen to this part if you care a lot about the second book in the Farseer trilogy. This book was absolutely nothing but Regal being horrible, then Fitz saying, why don't we just kill him? And then everybody from the Fool to Burridge to Chade, like everybody saying, no, you can't do that. That's the last thing you can do. You can't kill him. You can't kill him. You can't kill him. Like, okay, you train me to be an assassin to protect the king. Literally, the king and the king in waiting are both under attack by an individual. It doesn't matter who that individual is. Fitz should be able to take care of him. And I hate it that it was nothing but just like a cycle of Regal is ridiculous. Nobody will let Fitz kill him. Regal is ridiculous. Nobody will let Fitz kill him. Like, over and over. Absolutely not. This book is getting a 3.5 out of 5 from me. And I'm over it. I'm taking a break. I'm taking a break. This book ended where I wanted it to be about 20% into the book. About 25% of the way into the book, I wanted the event to take place that took place at the very end of this book, and then continue on from there and do an actual book about that. Next step. We didn't get it. Anyway, I'm done. Taking a break, and I'm not mad about it. Like, my enjoyment of this book did not increase at all as I read it. So I will eventually finish the series, and I'll eventually read all of her books, but they are no longer a priority to me. I liked Shaman's Crossing way more than this. I felt like it was a consistent story that moved along at a really good pace. This is awful. So that's it. That's all I have to say about it. Now it's time to go walk. We've already had lunch. Now it's time to walk. So I will update again later, but I'm still reading Sons of Light and The Desert and the Drum. Good morning. It's Wednesday. I had to put my glasses on top of my head because I was sweating and they kept fogging up. Anyway, I was sweating because I just finished my workout and it's hotter today than it has been. Anyway, I've got my eggs and sausage to make my breakfast taco, and I'm going to get my day kicked off. I am about 70% of the way through Stones of Light. This book is so good. It's so well done. Like, the mechanics of putting this book together are fantastic. It's not even a pacing thing. I mean, pacing is part of it, but it's more of a perfectly timed POV switch. Like, sometimes in some books, I remember specifically in some Wheel of Time books last year, the switching between the points of view seemed to take forever. And I kept thinking, well, what's happening over here and what's going on with these people? We haven't heard from them in a while. You don't get that feeling in this book. I never wonder what's going on with somebody else. It feels like they are all pushing at exactly the same rate and exactly the same time. And I don't know if that was a combination of note-taking that he was doing to like keep up with where everybody was at the exact moment, or if he plotted it out ahead of time, all the different POVs, but it's working. I really, really like this book. I always tend to like the second books in a series better than the first, because in the first book there's a lot of explaining and a lot of world setup and world building stuff and all of that, and we're getting that in small doses in this book, and otherwise we're just with the people that I already know. I love this book. So I mean, y'all, February is turning into a fantastic reading month. This is looking like it's going to be another 5-star read. And the other book, the third book in this trilogy, is already out, and it's on YouTube on the thing I told you about. So I think that in March, for sure, I'm going to throw the third book on my TBR and get it done. So anyway, that is all for this update. I'm ready to eat my tacos. Then I've got to go get dressed for the day since I'm still in my workout clothes. And that's it. I'll check back in later and update what's going on. Well, I've been laying here. It is Wednesday night. I've been crocheting. Here's my blanket. This is all I have left of this little ball. Anyway, Django is under the blanket and Skeeter's right here beside me. I'll show you the dogs in just a second. Anyway, I just finished Stones of Light, and this is what's so weird to me is I just read another 5-star, which, by the way, I've realized now that because of the way the light is in here, it looks like it's flashing because the fan. I mean, I look like I'm... Okay, that's not as bad this way. So I'm going to pull my yarn up like this so that I can take my hook out, and I'll show you. Here's Scooter. She's been laying on this side of me, and Django is right here under. You see his tail's wagging down there under the blanket. So, there he is. He's tangled up in my headphones. Hey, babe. He was all warm under there. Anyway, so I'll tell you about the book. Okay. So the way it was working in that other room is there's a light, and then there's the ceiling fan that goes, and the ceiling fan was passing in front of the light and making it go like boom, 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 you know, whatever it was doing on my face. Anyway, I finished Stones of Light. It's going to be 5 stars. Like, I cannot believe the number of 5-star books that I have read in the month of February. So this book, I've already talked about how perfectly paced I think it is. It is fantastic. And there was only one time right at the very end where I was a little disappointed with one of the choices that were made in the writing, but otherwise it was fantastic, and I have no complaints overall. I cannot wait to read the next book, and I know I said I was going to put it on my TBR in March, but I was looking and I have like 4 books left for February. So I'm going to try to tack it on the end of February and listen to Bonds of Chaos, which is book 3 in this series. So good. I knew that I liked book 1. I don't know why I put off so long reading book 2. I do not want to do that for book 3. Although I remembered everybody, and it was nice to like jump back in and go, okay, I know who everybody is. I remember what happened in the first book. I'm ready to go. But this, I'm so ready for book 3. We're still following the same group of people. Well, minus a few that may or may not have lived through this book. And we are They are trying to figure out how to kill a couple of gods. So that's what's going on. I can't talk about it anymore or to be giving away spoilers. So I'm going to actually not read They Come at Night next. I'm going to start with a little short romance book that I have called Sweet Talk, I think. I'll put a picture up here. I don't remember what it's called, but I listened to the first one of these. They're Audible exclusive or something, and I listened to the first one and I really thought it was cute. So I'm going to try the second one, but I just need a little break for a minute from like fantasy deep stuff for a little bit. So I'm going to try that one, and then maybe tomorrow on my drive I will read They Come at Night. So anyway, also Sweet Talk is on my TBR. So I'm sticking with my TBR. I'm just switching things up a little bit. Well, good morning. It's Friday morning. You know, these are the moments in adult life that nobody tells you about, and they're also the things that I hate the most about being an adult. So just these little adult decisions that if you were a kid, you wouldn't have to make these decisions. And here's the deal. I'm supposed to be driving right now to my parents and my son and to get my hair done. Technically, my appointment for my hair is tomorrow, but I was going to drive and spend the night with them and then get up tomorrow, go to my hair appointment, and then spend the night again and then drive back home. Well, there's a huge band of storms in between where they are and where I am. And it is slowly moving all the way across today from them to me. And everybody is being overly cautious, I think, in advising me to be careful about the storms. So then I have to make this adult decision. Do I leave right now and make my way through the storms? Do I wait until later this morning and hope that they've died down a little bit and then make my way through the storms? Do I wait till later tonight or this afternoon when they've mostly passed and drive through the storms and not get there until really late tonight? Or do I just get up super early in the morning after the storms have passed and try to make it down there in time for my appointment? And by super early in the morning, I mean I would have to leave here at like 4 or 4:30 to get there. So that's the decisions. Like, there's not a good decision. Like, none of them are just like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. And none of them are guaranteed because we're talking about weather. And you can't predict or determine what's going to happen with the weather. So I'm having one of those adult moments. So what I have decided where I am right now in my decision process is I'm going to wait a couple of hours and then check the weather again and see if it's gotten better. And then I might go ahead and leave. The other option is I have messaged the lady doing my hair and asked her if she can push my appointment back tomorrow, like a little later in the afternoon, to give me more time tomorrow so that I could just wait until tomorrow morning, but not 4 o'clock, not have to go at 4 o'clock. Anyway, this is what's happening with my day. And because I thought I was going to be driving all day today, I literally have no work stuff to do because I did it all. I did it all the last 3 days to get caught up for today. I mean, I do have some videos that I can edit that I was just planning to edit at my parents' house. So I could do that. I mean, I will do that if I end up staying here. I'm just kind of waiting because I've got my external hard drive already packed up in my laptop, and I'll have to like unpack all that stuff if I'm staying here tonight and if I'm editing. So I'm just decided that I would lay here and read. So I actually started and finished Sweet Talk last night. It is so cute. It was just like the other one that she did. Her name is Cara Bastone. And she does these Audible originals. They're really short. And they're adorable. And they're always done by 2 voice actors. And so each one of them plays each part. And every time, it's always some kind of accidental chat situation. Or it's just like a accidental text or something like that. So there's always some kind of communication issue or error or whatever. Anyway, so the first book that I read was about somebody who called customer service and kind of started flirting with the customer service guy on this thing. And then this one is her brother sends a voice message to somebody and thinks he's sending it to her, his sister, but it was actually somebody else in his contacts that doesn't have the right name. He just accidentally put a bunch of letters in there. And so he doesn't know who she is. She knows who he is. And they immediately start like a little flirty conversation. And they immediately start like messaging and texting back and forth. Neither one of them can sleep. And so that's what this one was. And it was just really cute. So I'm definitely leaving her on my list of old authors. And we'll see how I feel about it going forward. Anyway, I don't know. I only have 2 books left on audio for the whole month. I've got They Come at Night and I've got Freaks, it's called. So I feel like this can't be right. Like I checked my list last night and those are the only 2 audiobooks that I have left. And so I feel like something might be wrong. But anyway, since I finished Full Moon, the next thing I'm supposed to read is the graphic novel Over There. And we all know I'm still trying to finish The Desert and the Drum. So I may lay here and read a little more Desert and Drum and then the webcomic. And then we'll just see if I'm going to start Freaks or if I'm going to start They Come at Night. Anyway, I'll check back in later today with whatever the weather decision has been and whatever I'm reading. Okay, change of scenery, and only about 20 minutes later, I'm leaving. So we looked on the radar and it looks like it's not moving as fast as I thought it was. So I should be able to get most of the way before the rain starts. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm leaving. Well, as you can see, there was rain. There was no rain for a long time. And then there was some rain for a little bit. And now there's no rain again. I am in a little town in Mississippi called Leland, Mississippi. This is the home of Kermit the Frog. This is where Jim Henson is from, and so there's a really cool Jim Henson museum that's here, and it's also free. So if you're ever driving down Highway 82 in Mississippi and you come to Leland, you should stop and see the Jim Henson Museum. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I've got 1 hour and 15 minutes or so before I get where I'm going. And my book, They Come at Night, has 45 minutes left. So I'm definitely going to finish the book. That means I have read the whole book on my whole trip today, and it has been so good. So nice to come back to Nina and all of the members of the tribe and just be with all of them again. It's been so good. So good. And I still love all the character connections that's being made. Like, I think she's being so true to who she set Nina up to be at the very beginning. And it's been so wonderful to be back with him and to watch that happening again in just the right way. So anyway, I'm going to get back to my wonderful book and back to driving. And there should be no more rain. So I made an adult decision to get in the car when it looked like there was not going to be bad weather. And I was right. Not to say that I always make the right choices, but this time I did. So anyway, that's it. After I finish this book, I only have 1 book left. And then I've got to go look up and see what I did wrong, because I feel like there should be other books. But anyway, I'll figure that out later. I'm definitely not going to start the book when I finish this book on the way. I'm not going to start the next book. I'm just going to turn on some music or something to listen to until I get there. And then tonight before bed, I'll start the next book. Okay, this is as good as it's going to get right now. So I got my hair done today. It is red and short. Anyway, it does not matter. The last check-in that I did was yesterday when I was on my way driving here, and I was almost finished with They Call Me Night. They Come at Night. I finished it, and I'm giving it 5 stars also. It was so good. I don't know about book 3, what the plans are, but I'm definitely going to be getting it. And I'm going to be following her, and anything else she writes, I will pick up. Now, that means that I only had 1 audiobook left, and it was called Freaks. So I started it a little bit yesterday, and I've been reading a little bit more of it today, before and after my hair. And the coolest thing happened. So I started listening to this book. First of all, I got this book off of NetGalley like 6 months ago. Maybe longer than that. Anyway. And I saw that it said Arkansas, that it was set in Arkansas. And I was like, great, I'm from Arkansas. I'm going to read it. So I got it, and I got book 2 in the series. Books 1 and 2, I got approved for both of them. So I thought, well, let me start listening to it. So I start listening to it, and it mentions that they're getting pizza from a place that I know, like that's nearby my house. And it is a chain, but there's only a couple of them. And I was like, that's weird that it mentions that specifically. And then it mentions being in Southeast Arkansas. And I was like, that's where I am, like Southeast Arkansas. And there's not that many cities down here. So I went and found the author, and I went to his Facebook page, and I commented on one of his things, and I said, hey, I just need to know what part of Southeast Arkansas you're talking about, because here's the town that I'm from. And I told him, and he wrote me back almost immediately. He doesn't even live here now. He lives in Nevada. But anyway, he wrote me back almost immediately, and he was like, oh, I know where that is. I'm from Crossit, which is like really close by. And I was like, what? So just how weird is that? That I know that it doesn't seem weird to some of you people, but I'm telling you, the town that I grew up in had 3,000 people in it. And the town that he's talking about that he grew up in had like 16,000, 12,000 people in it. Like, not a huge city, right? So what are the odds that I'm going to randomly pick up a book and a person that wrote the book grew up 15 minutes from where I grew up? Like, at the same time. I mean, he's like my brother's age. So anyway, I was blown away by this, and I thought that it was fantastic. Like, I just thought that it was the coolest, like, coincidence. Anyway, I have been reading that book all day, and I really enjoy it. Like, it's about a group of kids who are being bullied. And I think, number one, there should be some trigger warnings at the front of this book about bullying and about just school violence in general. I think that there should be some trigger warnings for that kind of stuff, because I know for some people that is really triggering. And so anyway, that needs to be addressed at the beginning of this book. But these kids are being targeted by bullies, and they are already a friend group, and they start messing with stuff or trying to pretend to do something, but they have a real book that they're pretending with. And so they accidentally do something with the book that causes potentially a demon to come to Arkansas. So anyway, now they're having to deal with that, but they also maybe have superpowers. So they're all in high school. That's what this is. This continues with them having to deal with what they have unleashed. Anyway, I'm really enjoying it, and I'm almost finished with it. And here's what I was thinking that I was going to do. Now, I have already done my TBR for March, because I needed to film it a little bit early. So I've already done it. And I actually added a bonus book onto there, because what I really want to read in March is book 2. So I think I might go ahead and read the book 1 of that I was talking about for March. So I'm not going to tell y'all that's going to be a spoiler, but I'm going to go ahead and end this vlog right here. And I will kick off the next vlog from my house on Monday. So I'm going to drive home in the morning, and that's really it. Sunday is going to kind of be a rest and reset kind of day to get ready for next week. And that's really it. So I am going to end it. I'm going to say right now that Freaks is probably going to be a 4-star. Like, I'm really almost done with it. And right now it's at 4. Unless something crazy happens right here in the last little bit of it, then it'll either go up to a 5 or down to a 3. But I think it's going to be a solid 4-star. And I'm happy about that. I like it. And I'm definitely going to add the next book to my TBR as soon as I can. And then he has a couple of other books that I would like to add as well. So I think that is going to do it. And I have had a great week this week, and I'm excited for next week. We are moving right along through the month of February. We're almost finished. I can't believe that I'm done with my February audiobooks. I still feel like there's something I'm missing. Anyway, I'm going to check in on Monday with everything that I want to read next week. So I will see you guys then. Thanks for watching. Bye.